Okay, so today's daily architecture routine is including tips and advice for both digital model making and physical model making. So sit back, relax, and enjoy. Okay, so before we dive into the video, I just want to say a massive thank you for 10,000 subscribers. It's absolutely unbelievable. Thank you so much for showing the constant love and support throughout the past 2 years. If you're watching this video today and you are not yet subscribed, please hit that subscribe button. It'd be greatly appreciated. So yeah, let's dive into the video. Actually, decisions. Coffee or a Monster? I've had a Monster sitting in the fridge for the past like 2 weeks. It's been looking at me. Do I have a Monster or do I have a coffee? We've got a very busy day today. So I've got 2 virtual meetings / tutorials today. So I put a little bit of extra coffee in this morning's cup of coffee, because I think the best way to start the day is just to sit down, gaze into the distance and sip on a cup of coffee. Whoa, cameras work. And welcome to the den. It's looking a bit messy at the moment, we've got stuff everywhere. Okay, what's going on, ladies and gents? Welcome back to a brand new video. Today we are filming my daily architecture routine, which usually begins around 8, maybe half 8, depends how many times you click that snooze button. And then I usually get up, have a shower, have a coffee, have some breakfast, etc., chill out for a bit. And usually my day properly starts at around 10 o'clock time. Look at that, 2 minutes to 10, where I begin to do some work. So the first thing that I would do before I dive into my work is write a to-do list. So I think this is really important to do this, just to set some goals for the day, and also so that if you've got some things on your mind in the morning, you can write them down so you don't forget anything you need to do. So here I've just got a couple of things on my to-do list. I never try and put too much on the to-do list because it can get very overwhelming. So just a couple of things that I need to do throughout the day. So plan questions for tutorials. So I think it's really important to plan for the tutorials that you are going into to make sure you get the most out of them. Finish all sections. So at the moment I'm working on 1 to 50 sections, so I want to get them finished today. Detail the foundations, so just finish up the details in the foundations, and also begin 1 to 10 sections. So they're all the things that I want to get done today. So this will just give me a little bit of motivation to keep working throughout the day. So virtual meeting number 1, ready with notepad to make notes. That was definitely one of those tutorials that just stressful. Oh gosh. Okay, so I've been having questions recently asking about models and how to photograph models. And this is a trick that I've shown on my Instagram. So if you're not following my Instagram, it's @Studios. Shameless plug. So what I do is find a place in my kitchen where I've got direct sunlight. So if you don't have a place where you've got direct sunlight, you can always use a lamp or your torch on your phone or whatever. But realistically, you just want an evenly spread kind of bit of lighting on the models, just so that you're not creating too much shadow, etc. So what I've done here, I've got 2 bits of white mount board. I've taped one up onto the wall here and put one on the floor, which basically creates this kind of white backdrop, which makes it easier for you guys to then go into Photoshop and Photoshop the background out, so you can have nice pictures of your models on kind of like a white background. So here I've got lots of different models that I've made throughout this project, which I will talk about in a minute. But basically, using my phone or the camera that I'm filming on, I will literally just set up each model in the center of the backdrop, like so, with the direct sun on the front of the model, and literally just take photos. So I'll take a few now. And then all I then do is send them to my laptop and begin photoshopping. Okay, so to give a very quick and easy tutorial to kind of show you how I would import the image into Photoshop, and then how I would kind of turn those photos into some kind of portfolio setup or something along those lines. So what I would do is obviously get the photos onto my laptop. I would then open them straight up into Photoshop and begin kind of editing. So first I kind of do some color correction. So what I would normally do is go into image and actually up the brightness, because if you notice here, when you up the brightness, essentially the background will go more white, so it's easier to edit that out. Then using the polygonal lasso tool, or you could use the pen tool, you might find that a little bit easier. I'd basically draw around the model. So I'm just going to do this very quick and sketchy just to show you guys, but obviously if you've got time, I would highly recommend you guys to do it a little bit neater. So I'll just follow the model around and basically just delete the background so the background is white. And then you can begin to start adding some diagrams, some sketches, overlaying a little bit of color, and actually starting to bring the model to life and to actually begin to make it a little bit more diagrammatical and having annotations alongside the model. So as you can see here, I'm beginning to overlay some colors, bringing in the theme of my project, bringing in some annotations, some titles, and then layering over some sketches that I have done previously, just to bring it to life and to tell the story a little bit better. And as you can see here, I've also got annotations and sketches that I've done previously that work well alongside the model. From that point, I would then create an InDesign folder and begin to put in the page together. And as you can see here, the model that I've actually photoshopped, it kind of follows through across the pages. I'll begin to add some annotations to kind of tell the story at those particular moments. And essentially you just want to be able to tell the narrative of your project using models and diagrams and annotations and color to kind of tell the story of your project as best as possible. And essentially you want to be able to photograph your models properly so that you can edit them and make them look really nice and professional in your portfolio. So that is a quick and easy way to photograph your models, especially being at home, being in lockdown and you're not able to photograph anything at the moment. So I thought I'd just briefly talk over some of the models that I've got and different types of models that you can do throughout all design stages. A lot of the models that I've got currently are very kind of conceptual, diagrammatical models that kind of complement a lot of my early drawings and ideas at the early stages of my design. So across all scales, we've got two models here which show very similar things but very different things at the same time. You can then use models to test kind of geometry, how spaces might narrow, might open, might change angle, and kind of what the atmosphere and experience within these spaces. We've then got a more theoretical model which shows kind of the breakdown of spaces and kind of the formation of the building and how the spaces will follow the form of the building. And then you've got something at a slightly bigger scale. This is at 1 to 200, which actually shows a little bit more detail and showing a little bit more context. And then you've got your more kind of diagrammatical models like this with annotations to kind of tell the story a little bit better with some annotations, with some notes that kind of describe each element across the model. So no matter how kind of sketchy or refined, kind of detailed models you have, I think they all are as important as each other, as they tell different parts of your project and kind of where you've come from in your design development. So I think kind of like a model like this is just as important as a bigger model like this. Okay, the time is 20 past 1. I've just had some lunch. This is the time of the day where I start to lose my mind and just walking around, messing around, getting some steps in. T. Oh, one left. Hey. So in 5 minutes I've got my second tutorial of the day at 2:30. So once again I'm writing down a couple questions that I want to ask just so that I can make the most of the tutorial. Oh, right, time for a quick break. I think it's really important as an architect student or as a student in general, if you're working really hard doing silly hours, it's really important to rest as much as possible. So throughout the day I would tend to maybe work an hour, then have 10 minutes off, then work an hour, then have 10 minutes off. and then maybe work a few hours and then have half an hour off. And I think it's really important to rest up and have some time away from looking at the computer screen, some time away from thinking about the work, even though most of the time when you're sat watching TV, you're probably still thinking about the work. But yeah, I think it's really, really important to rest. And even in the week, throughout the 7 days, I will try and have one day where I might only do 1 or 2 hours of work, because I think it's really, really important to have at least one day off a week, just to rest up, to rest the mind, so you don't go insane, even though I am already going insane. But obviously getting to the last stages of the project, it is getting very, very hectic, and I'm working 10+ hours a day, which is absolutely crazy. So yeah, 3 o'clock, just finished up my second tutorial of the day, so my second and last tutorial of the day. I'm just going to sit in front of the TV for a bit, probably watch a bit of YouTube, probably fall down a couple rabbit holes along the way, and yeah, rest is key, people. Don't forget that. Oscar's doing it the right way, aren't you? You sleep 20 hours out of the 24 hours in a day. Ooh, what's that? What are you saying? Okay, people, so now we're going to talk softwares. The big subject, softwares. I could do like multiple videos talking about software, so I'm going to try and keep it as simple as possible. But I'm basically just going to elaborate on what I discussed in my podcast the other day. So I think there's a process behind the softwares that you use, and I think a combination of softwares is really, really important. I don't think there is necessarily one software that would do everything for you. I think it's really important to just combine all different types of softwares, test as many softwares as possible whilst you're at university, and build up as many skills as possible. So yes, I think a combination of softwares is just unbelievably important. I don't think there is like one software that you can use for everything and produce all your drawings from one software. Softwares, I'm including the Adobe suite, so all your Photoshop, your InDesign, your Illustrator. So we're talking lots of different softwares here, but I think it's really important to combine different softwares together. So I've been working a lot on Rhino at the moment. I've been working a lot on AutoCAD, Illustrator, Photoshop, and then InDesign as well. So that's kind of my workflow, and people have been asking me a lot kind of what my software workflow is. So something that I've done recently and I've learned recently is Rhino, and I think Rhino is actually really, really good. I think it's a lot easier to use than a lot of other softwares out there. It's kind of similar to SketchUp in a way, in how kind of efficient and quick and easy it is to pick up. So what I would tend to do is start digitally modeling some of the ideas and the concepts, so you can elaborate a little bit more and start testing it 3-dimensionally. And essentially, once you've formed a digital model, once you've put all the information in, you've made it kind of quite detailed. Bearing in mind it will take you quite a while to make a really detailed model, you can pretty much just extract the information from that model into other softwares to start cleaning up the designs. If you want to start beginning to look at different scales, you can take out lots of different types of drawings. You can take out axonometrics, start exploding them and create them into diagrams. You can take out sections, floor plans, and obviously you can just pretty much extract all the information from the model once it is formed. So I think that is why softwares are really, really fantastic and efficient, because you can pretty much put all your effort into this one model and then you can start extracting the information. So my workflow is fairly simple. I think to begin with, it's really important to have a detailed digital model before you start exporting the drawings. So in Rhino here, what I'll do here is I've basically set up a one-to-one model with enough detail to start extracting the information. You can then start setting up views and planes. So on Rhino, I use a clipping plane, set up a section, and then obviously adjusting the view to make sure that it's the correct angle. And then from this, I will basically make 2D, which will turn the view into a 2D drawing. And then from that, I'll export it as a DWG and open that up into AutoCAD, ready to clean up the geometry. Because you'll notice when you export a 2D drawing from a model, you will have a lot of geometry that you might not find useful. So within AutoCAD, I'll begin to clean up the line weights, making sure they're all correct to the correct scale. Deleting any lines or polygons or whatever that aren't useful to me, and then from that I will then export that as a PDF, ready to Photoshop to begin to add shadows, material, bit of context, and really bringing the drawing to life. And as you can see here within Photoshop, I've literally just add some materials. I've had a ground line, a bit of shadow, and this is essentially all I'll need to do for this drawing, because this is just showing a little bit detail at 1:50. This is enough materiality and enough context to show at this scale. These do look nice, don't they? Lovely. Right, so that's a big bulk of the day done. It's quarter past 5. So now I will tend to sit down, begin to watch a film, relax for an hour or so, just because I've pretty much worked from 9 till 5, or we work from 10 till 5, and then I like to have a couple of hours off work. I then return to the uni work tonight when I've kind of had a bit of a break and my brain is a bit refreshed and I'm ready to go again. So yeah, I'll sit in here, put the light on, get my blanket and chill in here for an hour or so, watching TV or a film or whatever, just to switch that brain off and prepare me for doing some work tonight. Fresh air. Honestly, I can't tell you how nice it is to be outside after being sat looking at a computer screen all day. But I'm afraid that's what you have to do sometimes as an architect student. You have to spend ridiculous hours looking at a laptop. So I'm just getting a nice little walk in now. Then we're actually going to order some fish and chips because no one can be bothered to cook tonight. So we thought we might as well order some food in. Just because, you know what, treat ourselves for once. And we return. So usually most evenings I will work. So the time is currently 9 o'clock, and you're probably thinking, why are you working so late in the evening? And to be honest, I just quite enjoy sitting in the evening, putting a film on, putting some music on, and just chipping away at the work, to be honest. I think it's because there's like no distractions late on in the evening, and I can kind of just work away for a few hours and get quite a lot done in a short space of time. So that is the plan for tonight. I'm probably going to do a couple hours work, 2-3 hours. Just depends how kind of deep I get into the work. Sometimes if I'm on a roll, I'm not going to stop, but sometimes if I just can't get going, I'll just go to bed. So yeah, let's work. Oh, okay, so something I want to note as I sit here at 10 to 10 at night doing work, something I always preach in all of my videos and I really do push to people, is balance. So I think balance is really, really important. And you guys have probably seen me do a lot of work today, like a lot of hours, and that is purely down to the fact that I'm just getting down to like the really tough time within my project. I'm a final year student and I have 3 weeks left, so it's just getting crazy. I'm trying to keep on top of my work now so that I'm not doing silly hours in my final week on deadline week. So I'm kind of trying to get myself ahead of the game now, so I'm stressing less when it comes to the last week. So I'm not encouraging people to do stupid hours. I thought I'd just put that one out there, as I do think it's really important to get your rest, like I was discussing earlier, and to find balance, spending time with your family, your friends. But because obviously now we're in lockdown and I haven't really got anything else to do, I might as well work. Okay, so I think that is enough work for today. The time is currently 11:15. I'm just shouting, but everyone's in bed. So yeah, I hope you guys have enjoyed this video. I've tried to kind of put more tutorial aspects into this video, so I hope you enjoyed that. Obviously mainly discussing models both physically and digitally. So yeah, I hope you enjoyed this video. If you have, please smash the thumbs up button. That'd be much appreciated. I'm in my final 3 weeks now at university, so we're gonna have some interesting vlogs coming up, so stay tuned for that. So yeah, thank you as always for watching the video, guys. Make sure you subscribe, hit that notification bell, smash the thumbs up button, and I'll see you next time. Peace.